having recently bought the 6th main set of the Sons of Garmadon wave, a question popped into my mind. How useful / accurate are these sets? So today, going from 6 to 1, we're going to be counting up which sets are the most accurate to their TV counterparts. Without further ado, let's get into this. Now, as a clarification, this doesn't mean how good or bad I think these sets are. I'm saying about how accurate to the source they're supposed to be. Now, I know that Ninjago is created a little bit differently to how other themes are, within the fact that the toys come first. However, in this wave specifically, I saw a bit of disconnect even with what you could assume to be leeway for the sets themselves. This is why I've decided to do this. Not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's interesting. The 6th set on this list is the Sons of Garmadon HQ. Now, this set is the last one I bought, and honestly, it's quite an interesting one. Now, it's designed specifically to be a playset, which is why it's down at the bottom of the list. 6 and 5 are a little bit alike in this sense, but I think that this set in particular takes a hold of what it's supposed to be and runs with it. Not accuracy to what the show portrays, but rather something unique and its own. The set is a playset, and that's what it goes for. With the big saw and the overall shaping of it, it doesn't exactly line up perfectly to what we saw in the show. However, what it went for was something completely different. It wasn't trying to be what the show had. It wasn't trying to copy that. It was trying to be the one set in this entire wave that a kid could buy and just play with. Because that's what LEGO is in essentiality. And that's why it's at the bottom of this list, but I'm not saying it's the worst set. At number 5, for a slightly similar reason, we have the Temple of Resurrection. Now, this one was not specifically designed in the same way as the Sons of Garmadon HQ, but it did end up achieving the same sort of goal. Now, these sets weren't deliberately designed, and you can tell they weren't, to be 100% accurate. This is an example of that. It's built differently. Now, it's missing many things, and at a glance, it looks like it's fine. But when you actually see it in the show, it's very, very different. And of course, a lot of these sets come close. This is one of these ones that they went for displayability. I think the Sons of Garmadon HQ was a playability one, and this one was displayability mixed in with playability. And that's the sort of balance they go for in waves, and it's not, again, this is just the way that I'm viewing this, and it's a really cool set that takes its liberties into its own hands, and, you know, it inspires creativity in the sense. It isn't entirely accurate, though. And so that's why it's at number 5. These two could go either way though. They both go for a similar goal in creativity over 100% accuracy. Now, although the built sets in Ninjago are oftentimes exceptional, and the vehicles tend to be a little less, as I've noticed with Ninjago and Star Wars comparison video I did last year, this wave kind of goes back on that, as the 4 sets that we're going to be covering now are all vehicles, and they all take everything that you needed them to be and becomes it. It's incredible. So these next 4 are a little hard to judge, and so we're going to be going off usage rather than accuracy, as they're all fairly accurate to their show counterparts. Now, I've put the Mystery and Zane Bike Chase at number 4 because of its mix between inaccuracy and not too much screen time. The Zane bike didn't really appear very often. It only came in towards the end of one of the episodes and then was lost the next one. There's nothing really wrong with the mystery bike. It's just hard to choose. These two can go either way. Talking about the next one, we have the V11, and the reason why it's number 3 is because it is very good for its price tag. It looks exactly how the show's one did. This one is very accurate, and it makes you think that perhaps some of the themes of this series were decided upon just on the idea of this boat alone. It's very well designed. It doesn't look like something that came afterwards. You get the feeling it might have been an original design, and they formed the rest of the sets around it. So that's why it's at number 3. They both have good figures. And then finally, at number 1 and 2, we have basically almost a tie. Again, these sets are incredibly accurate to the show, and this is where I think it's incredible. I decided to put at number 1 the Kilo vs Samurai X, because the bike, Kilo's bike, is massive, and in fact, the Samurai X mech can ride on it almost like it is its size. That's how big that bike is. and in the show we see it about the same size. Unlike in a lot of this stuff, this bike is actually to scale perhaps even a bit bigger than it should be, and that's why I've decided to put it at this spot. Along with the Samurai X mech, the only gripe I have with the mech is that its articulation is a little lackluster, so for playability it doesn't really work great. The limbs on the arms, the joints aren't super long, and the leg ones can't really move that far. But other than that, it does sit slightly above the Ninja Nightcrawler, which has two things in it. One, the Ninja Nightcrawler, and Ultrafighter's bike. Now, these, honestly, and the amount of screen time this stuff shares, it's really no surprise that this stuff is at the top here, but it just really is dependent on what you guys think as well, because although I've put them in this order, you know, you could have a completely different idea of what was more prevalent in the season. So yeah, that's the idea for today. I wanted to do this because I've never completed Ninjago with before, and I haven't counted the Ninjutsu Masters because they didn't really appear in their actual form, so technically they're all inaccurate, they're just toys. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope that one day I'll get to do another one of these.